one day maybe Chicago could be famous for its river and all the nice wildlife here. It would be a million times better to study a healthy river.
There would be plants everywhere if this was a healthy river.
People just come and think they can just put their trash in here.
Ducks like to sit in the water, but they can't come back up to the land.
We noticed that there aren't riverbanks in this river, so we were just wondering what would be the best way to create one.
I hope that this project, this collaboration with Urban Rivers, will enable our children to realise that they have an important role to play in preserving the environment within Chicago. Taking the Chicago River, which has been narrowed into this corridor of metal, and adding back artificial riverbanks, means the children can see how we can bring back the biodiversity to the river, and then use that opportunity to make meaningful learning experiences for our children.
The floating gardens are made of 4 long tubes covered in coconut husks to help them float. We put them in the river after filling them with mulch and native Illinois plants. The roots provide homes for the fish and also a safe spot for the fish to lay their eggs.
Since there's a huge variety of plants, it attracts a lot of new animals that used to be in Chicago. We've already seen some great blue herons, some ducks, and some American coots.
We are hoping to attract otters and snapping turtles.
We researched some plants that might reduce the pollution.
We want milkweeds and marsh marigolds because milkweeds attract monarch butterflies so they can have a place to rest while they're migrating.
One of the cool things is we'll get to monitor this over time and seeing if we see any of these animals on the gardens. And we could use that knowledge to then expand out and put these in other areas.
You know, they get to think about these problems as things that can be solved and try to think about when you see something wrong with something, how you yourself can change it. I think this is kind of a catalyst for doing some really interesting work in whatever fields you're going to pursue.
We don't need to go outside of the city to explore wildlife. We can attract it back to the city. It is a long-term project, so the children can go back every year and see their handiwork developing and improving the biodiversity of the Chicago River.
I'm excited to see the wild mile because I want to see how it changes through different years.
Most other schools, they don't get to do this, but I'm really glad that our school gets to come down here and explore what it's like.
Well, I think it's super important that everyone's involved in a project like this because the more people you have, the more of these planters you can get and the better it is for the wildlife.
So far this is 166 foot long, but this whole area, this channel is the mile. So that's the goal, is to get this whole area to become the wild mile. The work that the kids are doing in here is real science. You know, these are things that have not been done yet.
Being out of the classroom, you can interact with nature, learning science and about the animals and their natural habitats.
This is just the start of a long-lasting, fruitful relationship with Urban Rivers. It's a great way to break out of the classroom and build that community within Lincoln Park together.